This is Culture Crime Fighters. We are a Culture Crimes Task Force so powerful, so far-reaching, not even the most dastardly of villains can escape. Our goal is to identify and defeat all culture criminals wherever they lurk and destroy them. For too long have these cretins carried out their nefarious deeds, and we will sit for it no longer. Beware. You may commit your culture crimes, but if you do, justice will be served at the hands of the Culture Crime Fighters.
What are you?
I'm Vigilante Williamson.
You went full.
SJW.
Never go full.
SJW.
You don't buy that? Yeah.
President of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy.
You guys are nuts. That's one of my pet peeves, and here you come along with a third pronunciation. Like, what are you doing? Actually, it's pronounced
Stupid bitch.
If you could just be like 25% less brave, that would be great. People were like, there's no way he fucked her. This pig, he didn't fuck this pig.
I think he probably did. I think he didn't give a fuck. Allegedly.
That's just your opinion. It's in England, they say
Audible cunt.
And in America, we say Amber Heard. And that's where the confusion is.
See, I was going with the British way.
Turns out it's a little more nuanced than that.
And I mean, hey, we're in 2021. Any moderately attractive girl can do squats for a few months and put a camera up her ass and become and go viral. So
I don't know. I mean, I'll keep my mind open. I spent all day yesterday on that video. I edited, I cut, I put sound effects and visuals. I'm tap dancing, I'm spinning plates. Although for the life of me, I can't grow it. It's got like 45 fucking views.
You know what I think it is now? Tease the algorithmic guys. Brightest Day is in the chat. His channel is growing because of those shorts. Yeah, that's how it goes.
That's how it is.
Man, this has been a fun ride. I thank everybody for being here the whole time. I mean, there's regulars, obviously. Snorter Poopist, the Islington girl, Man of War 665, Neighbor of the Beast, Just Another Red Shirt. Not just another red shirt. He's the red shirt. The crew. I love you all, man.
You guys are the shit. Love you all. Man of War 665, Lord Thoth, Just Another Red Shirt, Darius Munchausen, 24/7 Fusion Media, Ascension Dildo, Mark D with a C, Snorter Poopus, Android Scanner, the Islington Girl, New Bomb Turk. Everybody, you guys are great. We'll see you all next time. Have a great night.
Peace.
Yeah, peace. I love peace.
Alrighty. I love that.
Awesome.
Shout out to the Wake Down who did that secondary intro that we just played. And the cool thing is a lot of names at the end are already in the chat. Yeah. A lot of people we mentioned. Snorter Poopers, Islington Girl, Android Scanner, Ascension Dildo, Darius. Shout out to all you guys. This is Culture Crime Fighters with special guests, none other than Tom from Midnight's Edge.
Hell,
and
Tom.
we appreciate you showing up. Yeah, you're special, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I always rode the short bus as a kid.
Well, if it makes you feel better, those are the people who run Hollywood. So it all worked out.
I don't know if I should feel better, though, now that you say that.
Yeah. Well, that part is definitely true. And yes, we did. We loved it.
God, that was so funny.
Bitter
so great. I love the joke about the shorts, and then it's what's it?
It was I forgot her name, but doing the Daisy
Jessica something. Simpson.
Yeah, Simpson. Yeah. She was. I remember when she was famous and hot and stuff. It's a long time ago. But yeah, how you doing, Matt?
I'm doing pretty good, my friend. Doing pretty good. Happy to have Tom here. This is exciting for us.
Yeah, it really is. Really is.
Something new.
Big fans. And we didn't. So we weren't sure if we were going to grab you because it looked like there was some kind of controversy.
And a hectic day.
Did you want to talk about it? Did you want to? You don't want to talk about it. Okay,
no worries.
That's
man.
cool.
What else is there to really say? I mean, someone throws out of context DMs out there and makes a bunch of accusations without any proof. So, what can I do?
I honestly have looked. Vid mentioned that it was going on, and that's all I know about it. So
yeah, and I don't.
We can leave it there.
Yeah, that's fine. We're cool.
No, honestly, I'm here to have fun. So yeah,
I'd
rather not talk about it.
That works for us. Speaking of
honestly, it had nothing to do with me to begin with. I don't even know why I got drug into it. That's kind of where I'm at.
I see. Yeah, I don't know the details. I just saw it and it happened to be on Twitter, so I just figured just to say something. So we didn't say nothing. So
Yeah.
speaking of fun, almost did some housekeeping wrong. Vigilante Williamson here on the 12th episode of the Culture Crime Fighters. I was feeling off like something's not quite right until I do that intro. I got to get in the energy of Vigilante Williamson. So really cool. Really cool. I don't know. Did you want to read the intro since it already was kind of?
It feels redundant, right?
Yeah.
It feels like we already did it in Wakedown's video, so there's no reason to say it twice. Which, goddamn, Wakedown, you did so good. The Amber Heard joke, the Amber Heard joke,
the audible cut.
Yeah, and it's just like it's a little more nuanced than that.
So great. Our own Perry Chan.
Right on.
Our own Perry Chan, the Wakedown. Great
stuff. Great
really
stuff.
Cool.
I recognize some of these people in the chat.
Yeah, some of them Snorter Poop is. New Bomb Turk is in a lot of people's chat. Robert, Darius Munchausen. Shout out to Darius. Shout out to Android Scanner. Shout out to Mr. Dragon, who I think is fairly new.
Yeah, I don't recognize Mr. Dragon
or
Morgan Holloway.
Morgan Holloway, I've seen a few times on my channel. So she's newer, maybe the past couple of weeks. Well, it isn't just her. It's a couple. It's her and her husband. So shout out to
that's cute.
Morgan.
That's adorable.
Morgan Holloway. Yeah.
That's totally cool. Right on. Well, okay. So, Tom, I guess we all know now. We've all been educated and schooled, and we've all taken our teachings that the Golden Globes is a racist organization, and we need to distance ourselves from it, and we need to get it out of Hollywood. And I think it's a step in the right direction. What do you think?
Get those goddamn foreigners out of Hollywood. Damn right.
Yeah, Hollywood Foreign Press.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you. I didn't want to sound like a complete racist there, but no, or a xenophobe, I should say. No, I think it's kind of the most idiotic thing I've ever heard in my life. You literally have something that's called the Hollywood Foreign Press, meaning it's made up of other countries outside the U.S.
Yeah.
I'm failing to see the lack of diversity.
Well, okay, so I don't really understand. So
Norway too white? I mean, I
don't know. Like I read an article about it, and it sounded like immediately they were like, absolutely, we will buy, whatever date we're gonna add 12 black people to our staff, or whatever. And like that wasn't good enough. Someone from Me Too was like, or Time's Up. Someone from Time's Up was like, oh, they don't get it, and this isn't enough. And to me, it kind of felt like a hostile takeover. It kind of felt like someone's playing. What's that?
That's how these things usually work.
Yeah, that's what it felt like to me. And so now, and then I hear, I guess NBC's not going to host it, and Tom Cruise gave back some of his old Golden Globes.
Yeah,
awesome. That's
what the hell is going on?
They're eating themselves.
Well, Tom Cruise is just virtue signaling to virtue signal. That's an easy one.
It's brutal.
Because let's be real, if he had any Oscars, I doubt he'd be giving them back. What was the other part? The whole not doing the show thing.
Yeah, like NBC won't do it now. Like it's too racist. This to me seems extraordinarily arbitrary. Like this doesn't feel like a real thing that anyone's actually outraged about. This feels like they're using it as an excuse to get rid of the Golden Globes or, get power in some regard. This doesn't feel like an organic cancelization.
Yeah, you have, if they would have come out and said, due to the current climate, the woo flu, whatever you want to call it, the vid, the coof, whatever. If they want to come out and said something to that effect, okay. Golden Globes, foreign press, more people flying in and out, it's a little understandable. No, they come out and say they're canceling it because the shit's too racist.
Yeah.
I mean, it has got to be the most oddball, again, to go back to the first part of it, but no, I think it's more so they're using it as an excuse. Because the Oscars tanked so bad.
That's what I was going to ask. My question was, how racist would the Golden Globes be if the Oscars were still getting 20 million, 30 million people watching?
It wouldn't be in a conversation right now.
I didn't think it would.
And the only thing to be worried about is what gets nominated.
So instead of them like having a mea culpa and admitting that the audience and Hollywood are completely out of touch and no one's interested in these sort of congratulatory ass sniffing events, they're pretending it's something else and saying, "Oh, it's not that we don't want this albatross around our neck dragging our ratings down. They're racist, so we can't be associated."
I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean,
that was the first thing I thought.
I think it's the ratings deal. I really do. I think they saw the Oscar ratings and they're like, dude, the Golden Globes ratings are going to be in the negatives if we show the shit. Like, we're going to have to pay people to watch it. So I think they just saw that and they're like, no, we can't do it. We're better off rerunning like old Baywatch episodes or something, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it just, to me, it feels like that kind of a move more so. And again, it could be that there isn't a lot of black people in the Hollywood Foreign Press. I don't know what all countries are involved in the Hollywood Foreign Press. Maybe that's the first question we should be asking. Because again, I made the joke of whole, hashtag Norway so white, but it kind of is. I mean, like,
a little bit.
There's a lot of these countries where it just, the population of people that are not white skinned is like 1%, 8% at most in some places. Like, it's very small percentage wise. So again, I would not hold some of these countries to fault for not having a quote unquote diverse cast of characters in your repertoire of foreign press. At the same time, it's silly. It's all silly. It seems like Fugazi. I think you're right, Vigilante. Yeah. I think you're right, Matt. Like, it feels like it's all a ruse to be like, look, we've gone with the whole Oscars so white thing for so long and all that kind of crap. We can use this as an excuse to just not show the shit, which to me almost feels like, unless there's something to back it up. Again, I would love to see somebody back it up, but again, to me that just feels more like the ignorance of Americans and how they feel like, the rest of the world is so much like, or should be more like America, in a sense that, guess what? Like I was saying before, a lot of these countries, there's generally a pretty predominant race, and that's it. I mean, there's nothing to do about that.
They don't want the rest of the world to be like America. They want the rest of the world to be like Hollywood.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, that's more accurate.
That's a very good point.
Present Americans. They
do.
Stupid. Yeah, like they're just consumers. They're just feeders. Right. Eat our stuff. But we're the moral leaders. We know what's best for you and everybody and all these pathetic, sad minorities. So they want a virtue signal to the rest of the world. And if you don't hold our virtues to the highest of esteems, well, you are scum, sir. You are trash, and we will have nothing to do with you.
That could be very well it too. I mean, again, and that's where I say I don't know what makes up the Hollywood Foreign Press. It could be a whole lot of white countries. I don't know.
I have a New York Post article on it. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say I pulled up a few articles that I wasn't sure if you want me to share one of them for you.
Because honestly, I very little F's to give about the Golden Globes, so I don't know that much about it. The only thing I know about
either. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just going to say the only thing I know about it is that I do feel like they are smart in having the multiple categories for films, and that's where Oscars are losing out. But that's just me. Anyway, what do they say here?
So, sorry. Oh no problem, man. It says why the NBC 2022 Golden Globes. So they're not just canceled this year; they canceled next year too.
Well, they already happened this year.
They already happened. I see.
Yeah,
it shows how much interest.
See Vigilante in Hollywood.
You're right. I didn't even know it happened already either.
Yeah, I don't even know if it happened, but
you're right. But it is
pre-Oscars.
It is pre-Oscars. You're right.
Yeah. And Robert says Tom pressing. I think we are pressing the fuck this shit. I'm out button because like nobody cares about these award shows. I saw a lot of people talking about award shows are just snort of poopers. Award shows are just a circle jerk. Award shows are ludicrous. They've been dead to me for years, 70s rock fan.
They are, but here's the thing. They're also an institution, and they've been around for a very long time. They drive the industry. They drive the way people make movies and market movies, and has a lot to do with the kind of the backbone of a lot of what moves Hollywood. So I am curious about this because I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why are they suddenly distancing themselves from an organization that they've had no problems with ever? I've never heard a bad word about the Hollywood Foreign Press before. All of a sudden, it's a racist organization. And in fact, it's so racist, we can't be associated with them next year. Like this story can't, this was like a plan. This feels like a coup. And I'm like, I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to know what's actually going on here. Like, who stands to benefit from the lack of the Golden Globes? Like, I don't think this is just a non-story. I think there's some kind of power shift going on.
If not, I'd like to see the winners for the last 10 years, because honestly, I don't have like the animosity towards the Golden Globes that I do towards the Oscars. Do I have a fuck to really give about? No.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't normally associate the pretentiousness of the Oscars with the Golden Globes, because they're a bit more of a ball. You know, it's like everybody's drunk, everybody's playing it up for the foreign press, and then you have, like I said, the multiple categories helps there be more winners. And so I'm willing to imagine that if anything, the Golden Globes have probably had more diverse nominations and winners over the years than the Oscars ever did.
Probably.
I mean, just in the fact that you have they have the Comedy Musical Award and then the Dramatic Award. I mean, right there splits up, so much stuff. So you got a lot of, and they got a lot of separate categories like that. And a lot of times the Golden Globes don't have the stick up their ass the Oscars do too.
Yeah, it doesn't take itself so seriously. Like it feels like they're having fun. You got Tarantino up there drunk talking about Ennio Morricone and just, he's fucking greatest composer ever. It's like this is a party.
Yeah,
this is what I love about movies.
And let's be honest, the biggest award thing in the past couple of years has been Ricky Gervais. That was like his 5th time hosting, and he was always pretty brutal.
If you hit another one on the head there, Vigilante. Maybe that's it. Maybe he decided he wasn't coming back, so they're like, "Oh shit."
Maybe. I don't know. That's what I feel like. There's something here. Someone's feathers are ruffled, or someone wants control of this organization.
Right? Because there's more than enough time to fix a lot of this. You can get a black host.
Yeah.
Get Kevin Hart.
Well, yeah, Kevin Hart already got fucked over by the Oscars. Give him this, exactly. Like, there's all kinds of things you can do to diversify the show a little bit. Let's be real. I don't like the Oscars, but they've done what they've said they're going to do. They've nominated a lot more diverse casts. Are they deserving of these awards? That's a completely different fucking conversation. But we could have had that conversation before this. That's the thing with the Oscars.
Yeah. About 20 years ago, we could have
exactly that in a different context, but same conversation. Here now, though, like I said, with the foreign press, the whole deal here is I don't get it. Why are they picking on it? And unless it's something like you just hit on Vigilante with them losing Gervais, I don't understand it either. Unless it's a coup, like you're saying, Matt. I don't.
It's so random and it's so fast, like out of nowhere.
So much time, like it's not like it's almost a year away. Like it's at least 6 months or better. So
yeah, like this is very surprising. This feels off, even for the times we live in.
Yeah, Robert has a solution. Just put Caribbean food at the podium.
Oh,
there you go. Speaking of the chat, I saw a super chat for Islington Girl, and I wanted to get
that's right. I saw that.
Shout out to Islington Girl. She just says thanks for the show. She tipped a half evil $3.33 super chat, and I appreciate that, Islington Girl.
Thank you.
That was almost 350.
Almost 350. There you go.
But
we have pro-capitalism. Yeah.
God damn it, monster. We work for our money in this.
You gave that monster 350.
You keep giving him 350 and it keep coming back.
No wonder the damn thing won't go away.
He tricked me.
God damn it, woman.
God damn it, woman.
That's
it was about that time I noticed it was a monster from the Cretaceous period. And I said, hey, monster.
I need about 350.
Oh man! Shout out to South Park.
Fucking it's so random too. Like it's nothing to do with the story.
No, but that's what made it great. That time. They couldn't really do that now, but yeah,
which is sad. Even though I think they might try. Well, no, they wouldn't because they got shit for trying with the South Park thing. But because it was
Go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
no, but then they did something where I don't really watch South Park as much, but I know something like one of their episodes talking about China has been censored and you can't see it anymore.
There is 5 or so episodes that, depending on the service you're going through, they are not there. But they are available on Blu-ray and DVD. So it's not like they're completely, and I think they might even be available, some of them on southpark.com. But
okay.
I know like when Hulu had them, there was those notorious like 4 or 5 episodes that weren't there. And I think the same thing now with HBO Max. Basically, the easiest way to know is go to look and see if like the Super Best Friends episode's there. If that's not there, Bloody Mary's another one to check. Any of the ones that had Muhammad in them, those are the ones that are gone.
Oh,
yeah, that one was canceled immediately.
And Bloody Mary, those are like the 4 or 5 that are gone.
What's the Bloody Mary one?
That's the one where the statue was bleeding.
Oh, what is and it's just fucking like a hose of period blood on someone's face.
And then the end of the joke, the end of the show, the whole joke boils down to is like they just don't understand why everybody's just so enamored by the fact that a woman will bleed for once a month, for a few days a month. Just a whole, just like the whole eating shit joke. That's like, I love it when they do those episodes, though. You know what I mean? Like they take in one joke for the entire episode. They find new ways of just keep dragging it out there and dragging it out. It's like, you put food in your butt and it'll come out as poop out of your mouth. And it's like, it's this whole, it's like, or not eating shit, I should say, for shit coming out of your mouth, I should say. It's a whole metaphor, this, And again, I just love the show, but neither here nor there. South Park, nothing to do with the Golden Globes, but there you go. You should have Trey and Matt fucking host South Park. Golden Globes.
Yeah, that's a good.
I would say it has a lot to do with it because there's a lot of fart sniffers in Hollywood. They're sniffing their own farts. And there's a lot of South Park references you can talk about with Hollywood.
Well, and I think that's another thing though they'd like to avoid because they know if they did get those guys, that'd be like Ricky Gervais 2.0.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. The whole you talked about one episode earlier. You can't make that now. You can't. Ricky Gervais can't give his monologue from what, like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And that's off limits now. Why? That's why no one wants to watch your fucking show because
you think that has anything to do with it that they allowed that the Golden Globes allowed Ricky Gervais to come on there and just trash all these celebrities and make them look foolish. And now,
I didn't even think of that until now.
And they've got like this axe to grind. Like, oh, we all look dumb. Tom Hanks was a meme, looking.
That's very true, Matt. Like I didn't even fucking think of that, dude.
Because the first time there was all that like backlash, but then like the second time it was like, how can they let this guy come in there? But they were getting all these great ratings.
Yeah, well, that's because he was saying what 90% of the world was thinking, but like, except for Hollywood, which is at 10% or whatever. I think you're onto something there. That may be more to do now that you say that. They probably that's where this, I take back what I said before about the whole coup thing. What you just said right there makes sense as to why this is happening. Is because Ricky Gervais shot his fucking mouth off and painted the Golden Globes as a place where we're not going to allow this fucking yakety schmackety do your politics and virtue signal shit all day long. And that rubbed the Hollywood elites the wrong way. I think you're right, man. I do. I never even dawned on me that could be the reason.
Because he collectively pulled their skirt up. All Hollywood. He was like,
no, you're right.
All a bunch of dorks. It's like you don't need to take them seriously. They hide. Those guys. Like the Epstein friends, and it was all this stuff where you're just like, that's hilarious. I think it just sort of reduced their stature and reduced their power. Maybe they took it personally.
Well, why did they invite him? And on top of that, like, because he if you look at his previous Golden Globes, he didn't get that brutal, but he was pretty brutal to the celebrities individually. It was good for a joke. And honestly, I don't know if he put their skirt up as much as just let the emperor know that we all see that he's butt ass naked and not the emperor anymore.
Yeah, if that's the case, so be it. I mean, and without him, it just makes the Golden Globes one less thing to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna miss the Golden Globes. No. I'm just wondering what the hell's going on.
I'd rather sit around and wait for Ricky to come out with another stand-up or something.
Yeah. I'd literally rather spend that whole time waiting, just sitting in a room waiting for Ricky's next show than watch the Golden Globes.
You're right.
But Robert said he shit on her bed. I just thought about every time. I can't help it.
No, you guys have brought up some really interesting points to this that I mean, this was brought up the other day, and I didn't even think of half that shit, man. Just to me, the whole thing sounded absurd, and at first glance, I'm like, oh, it's got to be a coup or just a reason because the Oscars failed. No, those last few points, I really think you guys may be onto something there. It makes sense in the grander scheme of things, especially if we got a lot of pushback from people in Hollywood, like, the show is racist now if you're going to do that kind of
right.
Yeah. But again, it just doesn't make no sense to me why they just don't get a different host then if that's the case too.
Yeah. I don't know, because that's the thing. A power organization like in Hollywood, like that's not just gonna go away. They're not just gonna like tuck their tail between their legs unless there's it's like a hit. And this feels like a hit.
It does, yeah. Even the Me Too people are out. Like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
This all makes no sense. Real quick, I just had to announce the arrival of the channel benefactor. Where's the comment go? Ogre Squasher, hell, Ogre Squasher 101. I don't see any insane super chats. He doesn't owe us anything. He funds this channel.
Yeah,
I appreciate him being here.
He's an investor.
He's an investor in Vigilante Williamson. So I gotta always give him credit when he walks into the room. I guess we can go through a little bit of this.
Let's see if there's anything here worth reading. If not, we'll move on.
Yeah. Okay. The Golden Globes, Hollywood's annual popularity contest built on free-flowing booze, political pronouncements, and ego boosting since 1944, was on the verge of collapse Monday after the stars turned on the event and NBC dropped the 2022 telecast. They abruptly pulled the plug on airing the awards next year, citing the need for meaningful reform by the embattled. I don't know if they're embattled, but whatever. Hollywood Foreign Press Association. We continue to believe that the HFPA is committed to meaningful reform. However, the change of this magnitude takes time and work, and we feel strongly that the HFPA needs time to do it right, the network said in a statement Monday. Hollywood Reporter. Go ahead.
According to that, I mean, maybe there is some turmoil going on in the ranks or whatever you want to call it of the Hollywood Foreign Press. Again, I mean, I don't want to just kind of dismiss this on face value for, just being like, oh yeah, it's just because of the Oscars or whatever either. Because like the more we discuss this, the more things kind of fall into place. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's part of the pushback is you had some people who were all for getting Ricky back and some weren't, and maybe there was a group that felt like things were being racist and the other one felt like they were being underrepresented. It's hard to say. I mean, in this day and age, I wouldn't put it past anybody.
Yeah, and it's really weird because, like, to me, it can't, like, what made them make this decision right now, this moment? Why did they even have to do this? In fact, if they would have just not done anything, and let's say the Golden Globes just didn't show up next year, I don't know if anyone would have even noticed. We didn't even know they didn't happen this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does seem abrupt, and that, I mean, I guess that's the final thought I can really have on this is like, that's the one thing that stands out to me aside from, if it was Ricky, why didn't you just get a different host? If it was this, why didn't you do that? In this case here, what I think, I think we've all hit on more so than anything is the timing of this, and that there's plenty of time to fix this problem. Even if there was something going on, I think it is very premature. I think you're right on that.
Now, this is just from the Wikipedia article, and this is what the Hollywood Foreign Press said. Like, this was like their response, and just like listen to this like series of events. This is crazy. So this was on May 3rd. This was 9 days ago. The Hollywood Foreign Press announced plans for a reform package, including a 50% increase in members over the next 18 months with a particular focus on underrepresented groups. Essentially, they're doing exactly what they were asked to do, with at least 20 new members over the next year, which will have a focus on Black members. Now, professional administrative positions, blah, 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 establishing oversight board for critical organization reform, like having a diversity chief and stuff like that, accountability improvements. Basically, they bent over backwards to say, we will 100% do anything you ask. Then the next thing that happens on May 7th, 4 days later, 4 days later, both Amazon Studios and Netflix announced that they would stop their activities with the Hollywood Foreign Press until sufficient actions on reforms were made. Netflix CEO Tom Serrano stated that the company, quote, doesn't believe these proposed new policies, particularly around the size and speed of membership growth, will tackle the Hollywood Foreign Press's systemic diversity and inclusion challenges or clear the lack of standards how members of color should operate. On May 10th, Warner Media and its subsidiaries boycotted the Hollywood Foreign Press, stating that the proposed reforms don't go far enough in addressing the breadth or concerns, nor does your timeline capture the immediate need by which these issues should be concerned. And additionally, Time's Up and a group of 100 PR firms criticized the lack of given timeline for filling in some of the new management positions, arguing they would not be completed soon enough to have any material impact on the cycle of the next Golden Globes. This is a hit.
100 different agencies or agents?
100 PR firms. 100. They all mobilized independently, apparently.
Wow.
How can that not be diverse?
Yeah. To paraphrase Young Ripper, the diversity they want is not in thought, because if you can get 100 fucking PR firms, there's clearly like a group. You know, we talked about
This is organized. This is
the Whisper Network.
Yeah,
that's what this is.
Let's just say that 100 of those firms have 2 people that are part of the board. That's 200 fucking people. Yeah. Out of 200 people, I gotta imagine that's a fairly diverse and well represented group, I would think.
Yeah,
maybe.
Another thing, they said they wanted to add like 20 some odd names. They have about 87 people on the current board.
Oh,
so
okay.
If you add that, that's like 100 plus. If they were all black, that would be like 20% black. That's higher than the representation of the country.
Well, and that's the thing that I kind of keep going back to too, is this. They want, the whole like, oh, but we just want it to be equal, when they don't really mean that. It's because if it was, then, Hispanic people wouldn't be getting ignored so much, because they're a larger portion of the viewing population as far as entertainment goes than black people are.
Yeah, they are at this point.
More in the country.
Yep.
I mean, there's just more of them.
And they're a very underserviced group. And that's one thing we keep talking about over on Midnights at Espanol, and, stuff I've hit on with Pauly, and, even like Taylor Hackford brought up in our Blood In, Blood Out reunion. He's like, to this day, La Bamba is technically the highest grossing Latino film, which is sad. I mean, there's a few arguments that could be made for like Dora and a few other things, but you could also make the argument that Dora is an IP that, has very little to necessarily do with her being, like, what I mean? Like the La Bamba story being the fact that it still grossed more than like Selena even did.
Wow.
And stuff like that years later. Like, that's still one of those things where it's like, that shouldn't be that way. That was 1987. How long ago is that? And we still haven't had a film that's even reached that height in the box office.
That's insane when you think of it like that.
And just they had the Beverly Hills Chihuahua franchise. I don't want to hear all this complaining.
Okay, when we're talking about non-stereotypical things, because I don't even think we can count a Cheech and Chong movie, because it's still only half.
Yeah, and that's still what, the 70s?
Yeah, I know.
So it's like, shout out to that 70s rock fan in the chat.
Yeah, but I mean, La Bamba was directed by a Hispanic guy, written about a Latino family. Again, that's the tough part too. You got to kind of weigh in, like, because Dora
films, I feel like those are
see, some of those could possibly, but he's got a pretty diverse cast in all his movies though too.
So it has to be 100% to be considered a Latino film.
I think that's kind of the point. Even though Lou Diamond Phillips and stuff like that aren't technically Latino, it's just that it's an American Latino story.
I honestly think, like, all due respect to Pauly and that, I think you really start to get bogged down in bullshit like this. And,
it could be, like I said, there could be arguments to be made. Like I said,
it's just nothing. Then nothing's pure enough.
And we didn't say it. It was Taylor Hackford. So I mean, like, again,
I'm just saying those types of values. It's like, well, he might be Mexican, but he's mostly European ancestors. Is he indigenous enough? And it's just like, what are we doing? Like, you just obsess over this stuff.
I think what Taylor Hackford was getting at, not so much Pauly, because Pauly didn't say this, Taylor Hackford did.
Oh, okay.
I think what Taylor was getting at was more so that you have a certain set of films that have been out in the past, 50 years, that you could consider Latino stories. First and like as good examples, and even some maybe that not as the best examples, but they're still there. But to the point, it still proves that there's an underserved group there, because there's only a handful of films that you could sit here and argue, and we could have this argument. That's the whole thing you're pointing out, Matt, is what consists of it. What does that mean? To where, in the other hand, though, we've got tons of blaxploitation movies and other films that we can point to and say, yeah, that's probably an example of, a black-led film or something like that, or even something more recent, like Coming to America too, even though that was technically directed by a white guy. So was the first one. But they still tried to retroactively make the first one a quote unquote black comedy, even though John Landis went out of his way several times to make the point that nobody ever said that before recent years.
That was what was great about the first one. The fact that you can look at an all black cast and not think of it as it was just a good movie.
Exactly.
That was beloved.
Yeah.
And that's
Beloved.
That's what made it great.
It was a comedy, not a black comedy, but a comedy.
And people didn't see that's because that's the thing. It doesn't count anymore if it doesn't come with a hammer of political messaging.
Very true.
It's like, well, it may be all black, but they weren't lecturing white people and they weren't getting things done and talking about this. It's just like
exactly. Well, then there's the actual then I think you're getting more to like what the actual movie itself is about, and that's a whole nother can of worms on top of that as well.
Yeah.
And that's go ahead.
No, there just probably wasn't like a PR campaign around, that movie about like the way they did about Black Panther, where it was all about that. And that was super, super important. It's like, I don't think they did that when they did Coming to America. I think they just released an interesting movie and then people liked it.
The movie just consisted of the cast that it did because that's what the story necessitated. Now the story comes out later on that supposedly Paramount pushed for Louis Anderson to be in the movie because the cast was too black. That could be true.
Sure, that could be true.
But I mean, that's a real shitty thing to do to Louis. I mean,
he had a memorable part in the movie, though.
Exactly, and he's in the sequel.
I don't know if and he was very memorable in that scene. I don't know if you could have just grabbed any other person and just you could maybe.
He's also a comedian, and like Eddie's a comedian, so those guys the comedians always have a bond
well together.
Yeah, I thought he worked well.
And he wasn't really the only white guy in the cast. I think there was a couple other people, even though they were minor roles, but still, I could be wrong, but at that time, I never thought of that. It didn't dawn on me. Nobody did. That's the point Landis was making, was like, nobody ever come up to him in many years. And to be clear, I should say black-led comedy, because a black comedy is kind of a different thing. Let's be real. I should correct myself there.
I thought about that too.
Like you're right. Comedy. It's more of it could be kind of associated with a dark comedy as well, but no, like I think that's a great point that Landis always said, was like, nobody ever said that to him. They're like, oh, I love that movie. It's a great comedy. They never said, oh, it's a great black-led comedy, or it's a great, movie with black cast or anything like that.
I think a lot of people would have found it condescending in the day if you did stuff like that, point it out really. So it's like what we were talking about on the cocktail lounge the other night. It was like, feminism 10 years ago used to be like, how dare you treat me differently for a woman, for being a woman. Now it's like, how dare you not treat me differently for being a woman. It's like, I feel like,
tell me about
it. You don't treat me any different. I just want equal opportunity like everyone else. I don't want to be held down or to be highlighted. If the movie's funny, the movie's funny. Let's not make a big deal about the black part of it. And now it's like, let's make a huge deal about the black part of it. And if you don't applaud, you're racist.
But I mean, a lot of the chat has gone by with theories on why that is. In fact, we actually have a super chat that kind of points that. Shout out to the Wake Down, who not only made that crazy, spectacular intro, gave me a $20 super chat on the Stream Elements. So, this channel's monetized because of you guys. So if you want to super chat on the Stream Elements, when the bot goes around, or in the description, hopefully I'll put it in the description, feel free to. The Wait Down says, corporations just didn't decide one day that they're allergic to money. Companies like Disney have burned billions over the last few years, and at some point you have to wonder why. Great show, great chat. Glad you liked the video. Have more plans. So he has more videos planned. He is absolutely right. He they didn't just happen one day. So something happened to where a lot of this stuff is becoming more like, well, it's more than just becoming more
suspicious. I don't know what it is, but it's fucking suspicious. All of a sudden, major corporations don't make money on the movies they make. What is going on? Something is wrong. Something is up. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it.
Yeah. And Robert, how am I getting bougie? I'm trying to get the chat. And we have a guest. We have to talk to our guest. And we also have another super chat from Detroit Zone, or the Metro Area Zone, Darius Munchausen, who super chatted the pie-esque 314, $3.14. He says, enjoy the pie. Rock on, VW. Rock on.
I get it. I got you.
And,
all right. Well, I mean, I don't know if there's anything else. I guess we could keep digging about the Golden Globes, but I don't know. It's all going to be speculation at this point.
Yeah.
Basically.
Golden Globes, if you want. Or did you want to?
Did I go Roboto? Damn it.
For a second.
Yeah. Look, you go in and out, but like for the most part, you're good.
All
And
right.
we got somebody in the D Live chat. Shout out to D Live. This is Simon streaming to D Live. It just says Israel versus Arab. Not sure where that's going, but he follows, so I appreciate
Not
that.
going there.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people go into the exo zone with their theories on why a lot of stuff is. Even in the chat, I saw some exo zones, which is probably have a lot of truth to it. To be fair, but there's a lot of
I mean,
theories
who knows? That's fucking trash ground tread though.
Yeah. I think the more important thing is now we're dealing with it, what to do. And it's interesting that even with that coordination, again with the Golden Globes, they're still like to me, they're using wokeness as a I don't know as an excuse for everything. But to me, you still have something, as I pinned the chat, people told me to. You still have basically an organization admitting they have something that nobody wants to watch. At the end of the day, if the Oscars were still doing 20 plus million or whatever they were doing viewers, and the Golden Globes thought they were going to get 15 million people watching the Golden Globes, I don't know how racist they will be. I just don't. So, yeah. Very
interesting turn of events.
It is very interesting and very interesting timing.
Yeah.
It's so random to just now. Let's cancel it.
Yeah,
it's so sudden. It's so sudden. That's just what I was pointing out. And like Attention Dodo's said that's some cartel shit, and it's that's what that feels like. It feels like a power move. Like one of the 5 families in New York is wiping out one of the others. For getting together.
Robert wants to nominate me for an award. We'll just make it up as we go. That's the thing about the Golden Globes that felt good about it. Like when you watched it, it kind of felt that way. It was like we're just making this shit up as we go.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick about the Golden Globes, I think we have an interesting point. Look at these the ratings? This column here. Yep, these are the millions of viewers. So 2015, 19 million.
That's not bad.
2016, 18 million. 2017, 20. Yeah, they were going up in 2017.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. 19.
20. Oh, maybe there's another reason. Look at the 2021 rating.
Yeah. Went from 18 million in 2020.
Wait,
I think that's the Ricky Gervais one.
I'd say he didn't host this year, did he?
Nah. I didn't even know it happened.
I didn't either. Right. I don't even know who was the host, if somebody out there knows.
6.9 million from down from 18 million the year before. I think that has a lot.
That's a big drop.
To do with it. It's a massive drop. It's more than half. That's worse than the Oscars.
Insanity.
You know what's sad though is that's not much worse than the Oscars though.
I thought the Oscars had a bigger. Well, no, they
did have a bigger audience, but comparatively, because look at that. I don't know, average there about 19 people watch, million people
19
watch.
Million. Yep.
On average, right?
Yeah.
The Oscars usually average 90 million.
Oh yeah, they were
back in the day. No, that's the thing is where this was such a big deal because the Oscars are like the Super Bowl of movies. That's the only kind of thing that other than the Super Bowl that brought in that kind of ratings. 90, to put it in perspective, big shows like Big Bang Theory would usually bring in 17 million in their heyday. The CSI shows I think did 20 maybe at the height, maybe a little more. Yeah. So I mean that just for kind of perspective, because the Super Bowl would do 90 to 100 million viewers easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
and sometimes
Wasn't-
more.
I would
But,
say like
yeah,
wasn't like 1 billion worldwide or something
they
like
may
that?
have
Like,
had years that were even
maybe,
bigger than but like
Yeah.
that's just like the average for America.
They
I
do
think.
it in America
Yeah.
and worldwide is even crazy.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say for America, I have no clue. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But that's nuts. But here's the thing though about those numbers, like, yeah, those are awful. I mean, that's a literal third.
It
of the
is,
audience.
but if you're looking at it from a half glass, half full perspective, that's an upshot for the Golden Globes in a way.
Well, I was just looking at it just from the point of view of like, oh yeah, this is an off year. Like there weren't any movies made. It was poof. Everyone's a
Right.
little tired Hollywood shit. Like maybe I would kind of be like, let's hold off for one more year and see what happens.
That
Like,
could be it, but like I look at it this way, like if I was in their shoes, I'd be looking at the Oscar, like I just gave the breakdown. Like I'd be looking at like, look, yeah, we're doing bad, but not as bad as the Oscars.
Yeah. I mean, because
no.
because I think the Oscars the last 5 years is something like 40 million average or something
did.
stupid.
Yeah, they dipped to horrible numbers, and then this last year was 8 million. I think was the final.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
I mean, I think they can just read the temperature in the room finally. They can say, okay, I think over the past year, no matter what they say to us, they're using their like woke face, like they can't admit the real reason, but they know. I feel like on some level they know that they fucked up. They know that they
I
don't
hope
have
you're
the
right,
same
man.
favor.
I really do.
with
I
the
hope you're
fans.
right.
well, it's weird because like it felt like there was a trend to genuinely be more inclusive in the like award shows, like with the audience members. Like when The Dark Knight came out and it was such a big movie and it didn't really get any acknowledgement except for Heath Ledger, people were kind of like, they just felt out of touch with the Oscars. And then the next year they extended the amount of titles to get Best Picture to 10 instead of like 5 or whatever. So if everyone felt like, okay, so then like, maybe they're kind of like, not real contenders, but they're there and you can maybe, you show up because you're interested in your movie. So it felt like they were trying to get more people in there. And then somewhere along the way, maybe coincidentally in 2016, they just kind of like turned a direction and went even harder. Now it's almost like they were working to exclude people.
Yeah. I wonder what happened in 2016. Real quick, it looks like we got some super chats tossed in. We have, I think it's Valiant Renegade who's making fun of the name thing because we get our names mixed up with Vigilante Renegade in his super chat. He says, in your Walter White voice, say my name. Valiant Renegade, that's your name. And off the 350 chat from earlier, so I appreciate the commerce. Anonymous tipped $7. He says, here's 350 times 2 just for that impersonation. So Tom, could you do the 350 impersonation? It's beloved apparently.
I was like, we all did it. It was a group effort.
Yeah.
It was kind of a group effort.
It was.
He also says, hi Tom, I know I'm a month behind, but congrats on the memberships.
Thank you.
We'll join soon. Tom has always been right about this. It's not about money anymore. I think when they indoctrinate the majority of people, money returns, or at least that's what they think, that they'll indoctrinate us until the money, and then the money will come back because we'll be right thinkers then.
And I think, and I got to give credit where credit's due on that. Like Comics Division does a great show on Thursday nights where he breaks a lot of that kind of stuff down. And that's where I can kind of get a little bit more into the areas of things that I normally wouldn't talk about. And that's where he gets into things like the Great Reset. Yeah. And that's where the money comes from. Right? Like that's the big question is how do they keep doing this without money? Because they beat people into submission and giving them money. That's how, and that's how they cover this shit. Like, and it's only going to last for so long. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, that's what I mean when I say it's not really about money as much as you think. It is, but it isn't. It's about who they're getting money from more than anything.
Yeah, it's about sending a message. We brought up the Heath Ledger Joker thing earlier, and yeah, I saw that Gomer Kyle was actually the anonymous guy. So shout out to Gomer Kyle. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate your super chat. So shout out to Valiant Renegade and Gomer Kyle for your recent.
Thanks for supporting these guys.
Yeah,
thank you.
Keep the lights on in the Vigilante Cave.
No, and these are two gentlemen right here. I can tell you right now that I have had some fucking amazing conversations with, and we have not agreed on everything.
No,
and that's the beauty of having people like that is that you can converse with, see different points of view, and really kind of break things. And that's what we did in this. Like, I didn't even think of like half of those things that you guys did for that article, but each and every one of them could be fucking true. That's the scary part.
That's the scary part.
Thanks for the compliment, Tom. I appreciate that, brother.
No, I really appreciate it, because it's I do appreciate good discourse where I don't have people yelling at me.
Well, that's the thing. I think if you're
wrong, Tom.
Yeah, right. I mean, you're still wrong about Mortal Kombat, but
I might be. I gotta watch
kidding.
it. No, I do gotta watch it again. I should do
I'm
that.
just saying, but I think if you're genuinely curious about like real knowledge and wisdom, I think you do want to have an open conversation because you really want to hear another person's point of view and kind of test your own ideas.
Well, that Mortal Kombat's a good example there, because that's where I was pushing some people into like, why. I want to hear why.
Yeah.
I don't care if you don't like it. It's not. I got no fucking horse in this race. Like,
yeah.
Tom, I didn't write it.
Exactly. It's not like I wrote this shit. I got my own problems with it. But no, why didn't you? Why didn't you enjoy it on the levels that I like? That intrigues me more so than having somebody go on a hate fest with me or even a love fest sometimes.
That was an interesting conversation, because it gets into why do you like a film? Sometimes you don't know why you just. Sometimes you do.
No, and the beauty.
Sometimes it's just like that in between. So that was.
And the beauty of that conversation, I think Matt and I could be wrong, and correct me if you don't feel the same way when we were done. I think the best part of it is neither one of us changed our minds on the movie, but we walked away understanding why the other one felt the way they did, even though it wasn't like I can't say that Matt probably gave me any better reason than I gave him in the end, but it was just, it was just one of those things like, yeah, I can see that. And at the same time, it's like, yeah, I can totally see where you're coming from as well with like, because I didn't like the main actor. So that could drag an entire movie down. For me, luckily it didn't. And then that's when we went back and forth and you said, oh yeah, but I did like this aspect, and we find the common ground. And that's how you, the best way to kind of do these kind of things. And that's what the fucking Golden Globes need to do, evidently.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite moment in that conversation was when you just stopped and you're just kind of like, and you're like, sorry, man, I'm smiling ear to ear because we're having this discussion. We're going back and forth. We don't agree, but we're not talking about how much wokeness was in this. We're just debating the quality of the movie. And I was like, you're right, man. Like, wow. Like that was dope. That was like,
what's even worse than that is when you got to argue a movie like Bill and Ted 3, where you could really on the surface level go, oh, this got this woke trope, this woke trope, that woke trope, and they made the girls the answer to everything and all this kind of crap. And to me, it's like I'm looking at it and I'm like, you can hate the movie for, not living up to the standards you have for the first two films. I totally understand that as a fan. But I really have a hard time finding the wokeness in this movie. And to me, it was like, that was a tougher argument to have with people than just sitting here going, oh, well, clearly Star Trek Discovery is woke as shit. We all know that,
right.
Do we really need to have that conversation again?
It's almost redundant at this point. Like
exactly.
I read like people like on meme sites and they're making points that were relevant like 2 years ago. You're like, yeah, I mean, geez. All right. Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what I love about the ones where they're all like, you guys just can't stop talking about The Last Jedi. But it's like, you guys can't stop putting articles out about it.
It's an important moment. It's like, I'll never, I'll probably never be over Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? There's just certain things that they just impact you. Like, the Matrix trilogy.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't live my life, but I mean, every time it comes up, you're like,
because it's not really a trilogy. It's one good movie, half of a good movie, and then another.
And then another one.
That's really what it is.
That's the nicest way I've ever heard anybody put
the best way of putting it. It's one good movie, half a good movie. I thought the second one was half good. It didn't make sense, but it looked pretty for the time.
Yeah.
And then the third one was a complete like, hey, you know what? That's really one of the first movies. It wasn't for wokeness sake where they just said, the canon we just established. Fuck it.
Yep.
Yeah. That movie feels like they really just got away from them. I really think they lost.
Well put.
Lost the goal or the sight of what it
vision.
Is. The vision. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Because it was just like, what
are you doing?
Because
And
honestly,
he looks so bad.
Did you
compared
see
to
the first
one.
movie? Like, in what sense?
Yeah.
Did you guys see the first movie? The people who made it?
you made it. Did you not watch it since?
Yeah.
Like that scene in the rain where Neo is fighting like all the Agent Smiths, and it looks like a bad video game cutscene. And you're like,
Oh,
"What
yeah.
is this?"
That's where it
What
really
is
went off
this?
the rails, definitely, in the
So
second one.
weird.
Because you're right,
Yeah.
Vigilante. Like the second one there, you're like, yeah, for a bit there until you get to about that scene. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, this kind of feels like a Matrix movie. They're up in the ante a little bit.
Yeah.
I kind of know what's going on.
Twins were cool. Yeah, cool shit. The twins were cool. The one little rich
Yeah,
guy in his
yeah.
life, they were cool, intriguing.
The highway deal was pretty cool scene.
Yeah, cool scenes.
It's okay. Yeah.
But
Was that the
then-
one with the sweaty rave, or was that 3?
Yes, I think so. I think they had which one? Which no?
You
Yeah,
know,
they had
I'm
the
not
sweaty
100%
rave
Where they
sure.
go to Zion.
I think you're
Yeah.
right.
because
You
it
know,
was
and the
early.
thing is, have you guys ever seen the Animatrix?
Yeah.
I was gonna bring that up because the Animatrix is brilliant. It's like,
Yeah.
So good.
what
like,
the hell happened?
I don't know. Like the movie, I would have loved to have seen a movie based on like all the stuff that led up to where the Matrix was, where they like scorched the sky.
I
and
know,
there was-
right?
Oh my God, that would have been amazing. Like those guys getting ripped out of those big mechs, like I mean, that was some epic stuff right there. And they just were like, no, Monica Bellucci's in love with Neo or something, computer programs. And you're like,
What happened?
There's a key maker and
Yeah.
God is a robot. What the
Key
hell is
Master
happening?
and Gozer there. And
Oh,
Man,
wait,
just
wrong
sad.
movie.
yeah.
yeah.
Was there ever a
Bill and
rave? that
Ted
was not
show
sweaty?
up, and
I don't know.
Those two siblings are really interesting, really unique people. I don't know. They're like, they do that an unbelievably interesting thing. And also they were the writers, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
of V for Vendetta.
I believe so. You're talking about the Wachowskis?
Wachowski siblings.
yeah, they did the
Siblings.
movie. Yeah, they
Yeah,
adapted
that's
it. Yeah,
Yeah. Which it's still, that holds up. That holds up.
Yeah, it does.
V for Vendetta. I think it's still really good.
they have the Matrix. They have V for Vendetta, and then I understand people who like Speed Racer. To me, it was just like a bunch of batshit crazy shit happening for 2 hours. But for the fans of the show, which I never was like a huge fan of, it does seem like there are some fans of that movie. So outside of those 3 movies, there's nothing they've done that's a hit.
I thought that was going to be a much bigger movie when it came out. Like when that was,
Had a lot of hype.
I wonder if it was just the timing, because it's not like
might
they
have
didn't
just been
promote
bad.
it.
I don't know. I didn't see
It wasn't a great.
I never saw it
film.
actually either.
See, to me, that movie suffers from the big question I always bring to the table: is making a live action anime really making a live action anime, especially if you have to turn around and manipulate stuff with CGI, technically making it an animated film anyway, which isn't that what an anime is?
Yeah. You know what? I wonder if they have, and it's funny because anime is probably going to be the next farm
might
that
be right.
gets looted for
Might
IP.
be, yeah.
But like, I don't know if they have the capability to do a live action anime. Anime is kind of its own thing.
And that's kind of what
Speaking
Speed
of
Racer
which-
reminded me of because of the cartoon. They tried to emulate that. Sorry, go ahead, Matt. My bad.
no, it's fine. I was just saying, speaking of which, anime, I guess Castlevania, the new season's out today.
Oh, cool. For the fans of that, I haven't got a chance to check it
Yeah.
out.
For fans, if you actually enjoy that, I suppose that's good news.
Yeah, it is because I've not seen it. I've heard good things about it.
I like it a lot. I'm a big fan of the show. I watched it. Some dude I used to work out with was like, he's really nerdy and he was into all that stuff. Although he didn't look it, he looked like Thor, but he was just like way into anime and stuff like that, and was just like fanboying out about Endgame. And he's like, he recommended it to me, and I was like, all right. And then I tried it, and I was like, oh my God, that was excellent. And I've been a fan ever since, and I've watched the seasons a few times over. So I'm actually pretty pumped. I'm excited to see it.
Oh, I went and blew Mike Beats' mind there. It's like, Tom, quit with the Inception style BS.
What's that mean?
I went too far with just the inside of an inside of an inside.
Listen, Mike Beats, you're welcome here, but if you can't handle the conversation, that's on you, okay, brother?
Hey, to be fair, get his name right. It's Mike Beats Dix. So
It is, but I didn't want to,
you know.
and granted, it doesn't have the same ring if you leave the last bit off, but
that's true.
When I'm on other people's channels, I do try to curtail my swearing as much as possible.
I need to do better.
That's generous of you. I probably should too.
Depending on the time night, because Matt, I guess I got to say with that comes with an exception, because by the time I get to your show,
yeah,
well,
that cursed like a sailor. So
it's like I've been doing this for so long, man. You're just gonna have to let it slide, because
I've never noticed. The only words I don't want people to say is just the ones that get the channel yeeted. Other than that, I don't give a fuck.
Shit, piss, cock, motherfucker, and tits.
Yeah.
Hey, I think that's all fucking good, man.
Like I
forgot the other one. Yeah, but yeah.
I was watching the Wake Down.
Like that.
The Wake Down's intro video. I was like, ooh, I curse a lot.
That's how you know I'm tired, because usually I can just rip off the 7 words you can't say, and I just I just messed that one up.
Tommy needs some sleep.
So,
okay, sorry, bitch. No.
No, there's a couple different topics. I didn't know if you. I know you're dead to the world. I appreciate you went an hour so far, so I really appreciate it. But there's a couple things, mainly the Disney white privilege thing. Kind of wanted to talk about if you guys were willing to talk about that. I have both the super crazy PDF and the Bounding article, which kind of summarizes what happens. So yeah, let's.
Because I listened, Tom, because I got the information, I think, from you first, and you were streaming with a girl. I can't remember her name.
Oh, Lorena, was it Toxic Film, or was it that one of the video that Andre did with her? Because this actually came across my table Friday night, and I brought this up on Friday Night Tights. Now I don't know if I was the first one to, for us to, or I don't know if we were. Let me phrase that. I don't know if we were the first ones to talk about it, but it did sure seem to take off after that. By Saturday morning, because by Saturday morning, everybody was writing stories about it.
Yeah, and then I really got into it with Gary and Doomcock on Sunday.
Yeah, they talked about it there too.
They talked a lot. They put it on like a fucking searing hour on this topic.
Well, that's what Andre and Lorena did too. Is they just kind of tore it apart for an hour. And you really dig into it, and their little excuse coming back is it's really tough to accept, because the only thing I'm missing that we got to through, because we did break it down some more on Toxic Femme as well, so maybe you caught that instead. But no, like what I was going to say was there was that diversity or privilege test. That's what stuck out to me the most. It's like I want to see the key for that, or I want to see how that scores, because I think that's because the questions that are on there are just beyond unbelievable.
I mean, this is all like the whole story is really significant culturally, and it's the kind of thing that we all need to be talking about, like as honestly as Americans. I know that sounds wild, but that honestly, I mean that. But
I agree.
The bigger point to me that I think that really matters about this story is it's 100% validating and vindicating as to why all of us are so obsessed with the destruction of our culture. You know, why Mahler does do 25 hours on one Star Wars film, like where all this passion and insight and discussion is coming from. This is the proof that it wasn't just, toxic fans. It wasn't just people who, are, you're just nostalgic for the old days. We were on to something. There was an acute observation that we, felt and expressed. And here's the proof that it was 100% valid to go after it.
And not only that, we can see that this is coming for an office near you. And this is coming for an office near you. Real quick, the chat, though. So awesome. First off, we have Bling Kong, who says Denzel ain't got nothing on me. And God, I guess it's a God's billionaire.
Oh
I
shit!
see what you did there.
Yeah, Bling Kong. He says bring it. So we got
That's
the
like-
baller Godzilla
But I
versus
see what's
baller
going
Kong.
on there.
And
Is
I
that
want to see
Robert?
that.
Is
I'm
Bling
assuming it's
Kong-
Robert.
I'm assuming
Bling
that's
Kong
funny.
versus Godzillionaire. That is
Bling.
quite clever.
Yeah, love it.
Quite clever.
You guys should start a show together. That's hilarious.
Yes.
I
And
like
Cinch
that.
and Dildo, always, one of Matt's biggest fans. Saying,
There
be
you go.
quiet, you fucking colonizer.
Fucking. I still
Well-
haven't read that anime that's represented in that and his avatar, which was like it was like the author or like the artist from Heavy Metal or something like that. We talked about that one.
Oh yeah, that's from Heavy Metal. Totally.
Gotta get into that.
I think that's the one that they did in the movie. I don't know if that's from the movie or that looks more like it's from the comic.
Yeah, I think it's from.
I think that's the one that is a lot like the Fifth Element. That scene.
Oh,
that
cool.
little bit. With the girl and the guy with the taxi driver and all that shit. Anyway.
Oh yeah. That one's dude. Heavy Metal's dope. Aren't they making another Heavy
movie.
Metal or something?
They are indeed working on a I don't want to call it a remake because I don't have all the details, and I caught Robert Meyer Burnett with his foot in his mouth a little bit because he's like, I can't talk about that.
Is he working on it, you think?
I don't think he is, but I think he insinuated people he knows are, and he knows things he can't say. So
okay,
it sounds to me like it's moving ahead pretty quickly.
Okay.
If they do this I think he insinuated, I can't, again, please don't quote me on this. And I do not want to say Robert definitely said this, but to my recollection, he insinuated that it was going to be an anthology series, which is what Andre and I, from the start, when we heard about this, were like, you have to make this an anthology series and just go balls to the wall. That's all anybody gives a shit about. It has to be Heavy Metal. You cannot half-ass this shit. You just can't.
Well, it's kind of sacred. I mean, I guess they did Heavy Metal 2000, but I feel like it's kind of universally received as they didn't nail it.
Yeah.
No, 2 was, it has its moments, but it's not anything. It's not a patch on the first in any way. And that's one of the main reasons why the first works so well is the anthology part of it. Like you need to be able to kind of jump to a different story the next time, and not every story has to be the same one. I mean, you can do a couple 2-parters maybe, but it
works really well with a little Marahuchi. I'll tell you. The first time I watched it, I was high. I was like, "Oh, this was like designed."
I love South Park. Major boobage.
Major boobage. Yeah, like it was John Candy is a voice actor in that.
John Candy, Harold Ramis, Eugene Levy, a lot of the SCTV guys.
Yep.
And Ivan Reitman was one of the producers on that.
Pretty cool.
The score was done by Bernstein, who went on to do Ghostbusters, and there's a lot of like Ghostbusters-esque, like it's kind of prototype. Like you hear a lot of the instruments that he's starting to use that ends up using in Ghostbusters for this.
Oh, that's
score.
pretty cool.
There's every scene in that movie is great. Like that, nothing in that movie is like fat. You know what I mean? Like you get these movies like for every Tales from the Crypt TV show I love, and every movie like Tales from the Dark Side they do or something like that. There's always 1 or 2 stinkers in there. You know, there's like the one I'm going to fast forward through, or Not with Heavy Metal.
No.
From beginning to end, it's almost like experiencing an album back in the day, like because it's made up of album rock, and it's just perfect for it. Because like you guys are probably old enough at least to kind of know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you listen to an album from beginning to end. There was none of this skipping shit. And you got high with your buddies or drunk with your buddies, and you just sat around talking shit. And
in the 80s, especially with like metal and stuff, there was that association with like fantasy or like sci-fi, like that was kind of like part and parcel for it. And so this was a 90-minute music video,
really,
but also like really cool, like fantasy-ish, sci-fi-ish storytelling that is well made and well animated, and it's a very unique cultural artifact.
Yeah.
Completely, yeah. And hopefully they can do it justice. So that's all I can really say about it right now. As soon as I know more, I'll let you know. But this
Real
Reimagine
quick.
Tomorrow thing. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, no, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was just going to get us back to the topic for you guys.
Oh yeah, and I do want to get there, but I just wanted to ask because we were talking about essentially sci-fi anthologies, and I was wondering if you, because someone asked this earlier, do you watch Love, Death, and Robots? Have you ever seen that?
No, but people keep talking to me about it. It's one I got to get on my list. That's definitely one I want to check out. That's what I keep hearing. Like I've got so much stuff on my list of things to watch.
Yeah, I know. Mine and it grows
me
too.
And I gotta check that out as well. And in fact, real quick, I want to show the wake down because I'm in the same boat. Is it some sort of crime against humanity? I've never seen Heavy Metal. I've never seen
No. And actually, I think it's a movie that's better seen when you're at a certain age, either at a teenager at a certain age, or you got to be an adult at a certain age where you can be nostalgic for it, even though you've never seen it.
Yeah,
there's just those two specific ages that you got. One in between there, you're fine if you see it as a kid. You know what I mean? Like, but if you're too young, it's too overt for you. You're just not. You're just gonna be titillated by the tits and not pay attention to nothing else.
There's some pretty interesting comments on human nature there.
Yeah,
it's like that. What's that ball, that orb, that kind of corrupts everything it touches, and that's
really,
sort of like a running theme. You know, it's. I mean, it's almost like a culture, like a comment on morality.
It is. Well, yeah, it is, because like, especially when you get into the story about Den, which is the one John Candy does the major voice for, and then the little girl when she turns into God damn it, the chick who rides the dragon. I always forget her name.
I don't know her name, but
you know who I'm talking about. Like those people, specifically because it takes two children and makes them adults, and it's that living out that ultimate fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah, but also like it corrupts that in the beginning, like the one that you're talking about, like the Fifth Element one, where it corrupts that girl into like trying to rob him, and then there's the one with the trial where they have like it's like the worst criminal like in the universe, you know, but he like manages to buy off his friend, and that's the whole idea, like this sort of corruptive energy. It's pretty cool.
Well, there's two sides to the orb, and that's what the stories tell you. It's kind of like, you know, in some stories it can corrupt you wholly or take you out, but then when it comes to the Den, or somebody please help me in the chat, the last story with the lady, I can't think of it, her name, her actual name, and I can't think of it.
Can somebody think of the Heavy Metal name? Because I can say
the chick that's on the posters and everything, but like in those two instances, the orb actually doesn't do anything bad to the person. It actually lets them live out a fantasy.
Yeah.
And then the middle story is the skulls, right? The zombies on the
on the like plane, on like the World War II plane.
Yeah, because otherwise all the other stories you're right, because they have the captain, what's his face, and it's been a little while since I watched it too.
Yeah. Well, I always took it as a just sort of like a comment on human morality, like
and
giving into temptation and stuff like that.
And honestly, I haven't watched it in a while. If I rewatched it again, thinking about it, there's probably definitely like the 7 deadly sins somewhere in there, and all kinds of
right
shit.
Yeah. Guys,
Tarna. That's it. Thank you, guys. I was drawing a blank. Yes.
There you go. Helping us
While
out,
we were
guys,
talking, I've been looking at the artwork from Mobius, Arzak, the sentient dildo. Avatar. This shit's badass looking.
I love that name.
Really cool. The art is great. It's really fascinating. It kind of reminds me of East of West, honestly. There's like these big like Southwest vistas, and it's kind of vaguely sci-fi, vaguely fantasy. There's like big monsters. This looks really good. I want to check this out.
Yeah.
And, who knew Sentient Dildo contributed anything of value?
Yeah, just a sentient dildo, that's all. Which isn't that kind of oxymoronic?
You would think, but I mean,
dildo kind of insinuates that it's just there and it doesn't do anything, right?
Yeah, but I mean, this one has.
You know what? That's a common misconception. And I'm glad you brought that up, Tom, because this is a teachable moment. All right,
thank you.
We here at the Culture Crime Fighters, we're very inclusive with the sentient dildo community. It's a vastly misunderstood community, but it is a community of intelligent sexual devices who are whole sole purpose is to give pleasure into women and men. Sentient Dildo, he specifically focuses on men, but others in the community also service women. So it's a diverse community. It's a proud community, and we respect them and embrace them here.
Oh,
Yeah.
he services men. Well, then I retract my
Yes. Yeah. Primarily.
Sentient Dildo specifically, not everyone in his community, but he does.
Yeah. Gotcha. No. I totally get you. And if that's the case, then I retract my comment and I apologize. And
yeah,
please don't hate me, Mr. Dildo.
All right.
Yeah. Maybe he left.
I respect your choices in life.
He better not have.
The weight
not
down
after I
stands
did
with
all
Dildo.
that for him.
All right, while he's waiting, because since Nate,
I hope he's
Man of
laughing.
War 665 neighbor the beast, he actually sent us a super chat. He said it sent us $6.65
Nice.
super chat, and saying, I'm sorry, such a dildo's come back. But this Man of War super chat was about sending you to sensitivity training, Matt. He wanted you 65 for sensitivity training. And speaking of sensitivity training, Cinch Dildo says that Matt knows you very intimately.
Yeah,
He knows. So that's a hell of a response. So maybe there's some sensitivity training, but just not the training.
What kind of sensitivity training can you get for $6 though?
Depending on where you are in the world, as much as you like.
You basically get a guy saying, "Don't do racist shit." Now get out of here. That'll be $6 in tax.
Just get smacked in the face. Don't be racist.
Yeah. Quit doing that shit.
Stop it.
Do better.
Do better.
Yeah, right.
There you go. Okay.
I don't know what to do, but just do it better.
So the
Speaking of which,
tomorrow thing. Speaking of doing better,
great
segue. Great segue.
Perfect.
I got to say right up front, before we even get into this thing, Disney has come back and commented about the whole being distorted and all that kind of shit. But is it really? I think the bigger question is the fact that something like this exists and they didn't deny that it exists is the bigger problem. I think.
Yeah. Real quick, Man of War said just pitching in, not subsidizing. We're not about to add more to sensitivity training. Are you serious? $6 max.
$6.
We're keeping the 65 cents. $6 max.
You're not even giving them the tax.
No
way.
tax.
That's my tax.
You pay your own taxes. You guys are the tax the rich people. You pay the damn taxes. But yeah, they aren't denying that it exists, which is the bigger issue. It has the Walt Disney insignia, and my big takeaway is like this is going to be a normal thing in major companies now. You know what I mean?
It already is, and in fact, I've heard a lot of people, more than I normally do, get these kind of things coming out at me with, "Oh, I've already dealt with something like this where I work."
A lot of people are starting to have that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a little training. Luckily, our job is such a shit show. It was never really forced to do. But they had some diversity training they tossed out there. But this sounded a little bit deeper. This was a whole presentation and just a bunch of people being told how racist they are. And the thing is, they have this statement about white saviors, not no looking in the mirror on that one. And you're really worried about racism. I would say if you film a movie in camps where people concentrate and the only reason they're in those camps are based upon their being Uyghurs, that doesn't seem non-discriminatory.
It's funny that you mentioned that movie, because in their rebuttal or whatever you want to call that thing that they put out there, that was the only diverse movie they didn't mention in their list of movies that they have made recently. It's kind of oddly just left off the list.
Yeah, that's just. I mean, I guess a coincidence.
Yeah, just a little oversight.
Oopsie.
Yeah. Let's read a little bit of
Go for
Bounty.
it.
Shout out to Bounty. Shout out to Spencer Bacoli. Shout out to John F. Trent. Shout out to everybody at Bounty.
Hell, Bounty.
Appreciate you guys.
100%. We
right.
need you.
Yes, we do. A purported link, which I think we can pretty much confirm, but I'll just go with the language in the article. A purported link of internal documents have revealed deeply ingrained critical social justice and race theory teachings found in Disney's latest employee diversity and inclusion training program. According to the documents, which independent journalist Christopher F. Rufo claims to have obtained from a company whistleblower, Disney's Reimagine Tomorrow program consists of a number of different modules aimed at teaching employees how to be anti-racist. And this tweet about Disney has launched a diversity and inclusion program. Reimagine Tomorrow includes systematic racism or trainings on systematic racism, white privilege, white fragility, white saviors, microaggressions, and anti-racism.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think he's bringing up one of the other points that's not like being said here, but is kind of true, is how is this actually helping them have a more diverse workforce? To me, that doesn't show this.
No.
This is just saying we have a bunch of racists. We know it. We're going to make it better.
We're going to do better.
We're going to do better. Are you going to hire more black people? No. We're just going to do better.
No.
We're going to hire more white women.
No, we're not.
Just like that damn. I wish I had that picture just there. That one picture from the Huffington Post. Not the fade in.
No,
the Huffington Post where they have the all the, we're diverse and it's just a bunch of white women.
Yeah.
That's the best picture ever.
Isn't it? It's kind of like the Lucasfilm pictures too. It's like,
Yeah,
but we're so diverse. And it's like lots of white women.
Or the milkshake people from Marvel.
I got into an argument with a friend and his so woke girlfriend about Star Wars, and they were just trying to act like it wasn't, about agenda, or it didn't have a feminist message and this, that, and the other. And I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I just sent the picture of, the Force is female to my friend, and he just rolls his eyes. I was like, okay, so there is no way there's not enough evidence I could possibly provide to make my claim all right, you guys are this is it. You're locked in the matrix and there's no getting you out.
Yeah. Robert asked a, $64,000 question. Was the girlfriend hot?
Oh no.
Then that sounds like a total miss then. Yeah. Thanos meme, I use racism to destroy the racism, basically. That's the plan. Everything balances, all things should be. Here's the thing that really kills me, because one module titled Allyship Race Consciousness asks employees to take ownership over educating yourself about structural anti-black racism in the current historical context, while also having to avoid having to rely on your black colleagues to educate you, as the task will be too emotional taxing. So they want people to go out of their way to educate themselves over anti-black racism. Yet, if I were to lead them to either Thomas Sowell or Eric July, I have a feeling they would not want those people to be the ones educating their employees over how to deal with black people. Treat them like other human beings, which would be way too much. Way too much.
Well, and another thing that they were doing was don't argue. Like don't question your black colleagues' experiences. Just sit back and listen. It was all that. You're just like,
don't question anything. Like what?
So just
that's some red flag shit right there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I mean, granted, I get it's not up to your black friend to tell you what every black person thinks.
But there's no way you can know what every black person thinks, because black people are not a monolith. They're individuals.
Exactly my point. They don't see that, though, for one. That's the innocent side of this. The not so innocent side of this is they don't want you to question shit. They don't want you to ask questions. They don't want you to talk to anybody about this shit. They don't, especially somebody who could challenge any of these views.
That's it.
It's also, that's their business model too. Shut up and consume. It all aligns.
Yeah.
This kind of stuff is in line with a certain group of peoples. Well, a few different groups of peoples. We don't need to just single out one. There's been a few. And not only that, it also speaks to a lot of cult rhetoric. Especially. And it just the
it's
idea
what we've been talking about.
Exactly.
It's what we get at with all the media, why it all like smacks of propaganda, why it's not about storytelling or respecting the past. It's about destroying, rewriting, re-engineering the future, all this shit. And here's the proof that the company that is media essentially that's their goal with their employees. That's how they look at the world, and they've been spreading this for who knows how how long, but they have been doing it. We're not paranoid. Here's the proof.
Yeah, that is the biggest thing. Because for the longest time, it's just a conspiracy theory. You're seeing ghosts. What are you talking about? It's just a kid's show or just a kid's movie. All this shit to you hide the fact that there clearly was a nefarious divisiveness. I mean, we can go through anti-racist, whatever critical race theory term. It's divisiveness. It's intentionally trying to divide people based upon differences that they can't control, whether it's gender, whether it's race or orientation. It's just let's divide people. That's really the goal of all this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
I have my theories as to why. We've talked about, who would benefit from a fractured America. Why would it be important to pit certain groups against each other and destabilize the nation? I don't know.
Ask the people who Disney thanked for Mulan. That would be my first thoughts on why that might be beneficial. And one of their biggest partners through ESPN is the NBA, which also has similar ties. So just saying. Hey,
just saying.
And as far as let me read the part about the no debating. It says asserting potential allies. You guys got to be good allies.
Yeah,
got to be a good ally.
You must embrace discomfort and humility. Disney further urges to challenge colorblind ideologies and rhetoric such as all lives matter. You have to support buying large mansions, you bigot. Or if you say that you don't see color, that's challenged. You're not to question or debate your black colleagues' experience unless it was like me or Eric July or someone else like that.
Here's a little yeah, exactly. There's that aspect to it, but there's also the other part of that is if somebody comes at you with the most outlandish fucking tale to make them sound like the world's most, just hurt victim that you could ever find and they live the worst life ever, don't you dare question that if they're not white. That's what that's
right.
saying.
And it's like they could be a fucking liar.
Exactly.
People can lie. Like it doesn't. Take them at their word.
Like what was that Dolezal chick's name that was like literally
Dolezal?
Yeah, where she's literally a white chick going out there. No, I'm black. It'd be one thing if like she was like, no, I identify as black. No, bitch, you didn't say that. You went out there and said you were black, and you actually teased your hair and did shit to your skin.
That's wild.
To make yourself like you've done the ultimate blackface here, lady. Like, and that's what I'm talking about. And if nobody would have asked
the NAACP.
Exactly. I was just gonna say exactly. Thank you, Vigilante. I was gonna say, and if nobody would have asked questions, who's to say she still wouldn't have been running the NAACP to this fucking day, and nobody would have cared if you weren't allowed to ask questions.
Who's the
Sean
other guy?
King?
Yeah, that's the one. That's
Martin Luther King. He's a white. You're a white male. Get over it. It's okay. It's okay to be white, weird. Sean King. Deal with it, man.
Well, that's what happens when you have this intersectionality hierarchy where you are like your level of victim status is associated with how you're allowed to contribute to the conversation or where you exist in that social hierarchy. Well, you're going to have people who are a little unhinged and they don't want to accept the fact that they just have to be at the bottom. So they're just going to tweak their like crazy little brains and be like, oh, I've been black the whole time, actually.
That's the wildest thing. Like, I sort of blame hip hop, man, because kids listen to it and they just want to be in. Like, listen, I like Radiohead a ton. I see Jens and that 70s rock fan. I like Radiohead, I like the Smiths. I never once thought, you know what? I'm really a sad British guy. It never occurred to me that I listen to so much of a material and get so enthralled with the culture that I'm like, you know what? I'm totally something else. Like, no, it's okay. Well,
let's be honest. There is something very cool about hip hop culture and generally black culture at large.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. Awesome. It seems cool and it's very emulatable. And I think especially when you're young and you're searching for an identity, you kind of might try it on like an outfit and just see if it fits. There's a lot of people that
I could just see a situation where somebody's like, look, I know from my experience of growing up as an underprivileged youth in the ghetto and having no money for food and no money for clothes, that the struggle is real. And then you have somebody pipe up, go, Bitch, I went to fucking school with you. We lived in the suburbs. They would fire the person who said that.
Right.
Yes. Yes, they would.
Because it's like, how dare you question that person's truth? To them, that was the ghetto.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
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 Like they have autonomy. The other level on this stuff is beyond even the race shit. Like, well, beyond like the how to deal with your black colleagues thing. The other thing that really set me off, and I was listening to Doomcock, really got him lit, was the fact that competition and individuality is white supremacy. That's some shit that was in this.
Man, actually, let me go to the actual
competition, Tom.
What?
Yeah.
Competition was white supremacy.
Can you bring up a picture of a basketball team? Any basketball team.
I see where you're going. Or NFL team for that.
Any professional athlete.
Any professional sports. You want to bring up a team.
Track and field.
Pick your favorite.
They're like clinically competitive.
You know exactly where I'm going with this. Exactly. Yeah. That is the dumbest fucking comment. It has nothing to do with the black or white thing either. It's more so men are fucking competitive. And guess what? Women are worse.
And like, hey, isn't Disney competitive? This is a corporation. Don't you need to compete with other media outlets for the audience share?
Yeah, they're very competitive. Very competitive. I figured I would bring up, an iconic athlete. Good old MJ. Michael Jordan.
There we go.
And damn you, New Bomb Turk, be quiet.
Hockey isn't quite that bad. But hey, as much and I'm a Detroit Red Wing sort of guy.
It's getting a little more diverse.
It's getting a little more diverse, but hockey's not as popular. But then again, hockey's not as popular as it was in the 90s in general.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, Michael Jordan, Kobe is mentioned here. Kobe.
Yeah. Just Michael Jordan in general. I mean, come on.
Competition is the very engine that motivates evolution and human survival. The idea that that's white supremacy. From now that, like, if some idiot college girl said that, you'd be like, oh my God, you're an idiot. But this is a major corporation. This is the one of the largest media corporations in the world, maybe the largest. And this is their internal interoffice memo. This is what they believe, or at least they say they believe. That and individualism. That's communist rhetoric.
Yeah, it really comes, and you're not lying that it's communist, but it comes from, of all places, the Smithsonian. And I covered this in one of the early Vigilante Williamson videos. Hopefully I can fucking find it as I look. But they came up with this list through their national, of course, I think it was African American History Museum, and it's all this list that, like, I don't know if they realize how unintentionally white supremacist it comes off, because it makes it seem like white people are the pinnacle of any achievement ever. Like, you guys invented time. No other culture had ever kept time before.
We
apparently. Apparently no other culture on earth had ever kept time. There were no sundials in other places. Nothing.
Surely that time is such a white thing.
Apparently hard work. No other culture had ever worked hard.
No,
white people.
Well, Mexicans, but they don't count. They're too white.
Oh yeah, if they are if they're not Latinx, that is.
Isn't like Japan notorious for being like extraordinarily respectful of time?
Yeah, they're like they have everything's on time. They have like the best.
Like, when the trains are late, like the conductor apologizes to the passengers. Like, isn't that's the culture, right? Like, I don't think I'm exaggerating. So they're all have internalized white supremacy?
Apparently.
What is going on?
Is it just me? I don't know. This is the first time I ever thought this, and I don't know why. Does Latinx not sound like an 80s band with chicks in it that was just hot as fuck?
It does.
It does. They were
just some
like a Latin
Spanish chicks. Yeah, just like fucking, and they jam that shit out just like 80s wild ass music. Like, it just sounds like
I'm thinking like hair metal, like in the leather and shit. That would be awesome.
Fuck yeah, I don't care. Late 80s. There you go. Good for me.
Yeah. Because I want the chaps, but that's maybe I'm getting
Latinx. Yeah,
An XXX Robert Hess.
Exactly.
Attention dildo. Japan took his culture from the West, man. Took his culture from the West. They must have gotten rid of this damn thing. I can't find it. Fuckers.
Which one?
I did a video about it. Check my channel. It's like
What are you
30
looking
minutes.
for?
I didn't know what I was doing. I was looking for it's this the Smithsonian National Museum
they removed
African-American
it, I
Health.
believe.
I can't even find the old thing. I thought
It might be on the way back, but I believe Andre was discussing that one day, and I think they actually
you fuckers
either removed it or they
Let's
definitely
save that damn
buried
thing.
it.
I'm sure there's an article about it.
Yeah, I covered it. Like I said, that's literally one of the first videos I did covering that damn thing way back when it first launched.
I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, they have a lot of that same stuff that's in this Disney thing, where it's if you work hard, it's white supremacy. Sheesh.
If you're on time, if you have wealth of any kind,
Yeah, wealth, hard work.
Yeah.
It's all this just
family values.
family values. I can go back to at least the pamphlet. I can't find it.
Racist. Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's
it's very
as bad as that woman who said, like, Luther's not black because he doesn't eat Caribbean food. You're like, oh my God. Like, you're invalidating people who don't conform to your your racist stereotype of what the members of that group are. Like,
I love how they. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Matt. But
No,
just
it's
looking at this
mind-bending.
picture is like I love how they still can't even hide the bullshit that equity is. That dude still has to give him a box or gives a chick a box in the middle. Like, there's still that there. That's not equality. He don't have no box.
Yeah, he lost his box.
Exactly my point.
He lost. Now he has a harder thing to stand from, and he's a tall black guy. So it shows where they don't like black people.
Motherfuckers.
They took away the black guy's box.
And how the hell did they
also-
build a ramp out of that little box for that fucking kid in a wheelchair?
Who paid for that box?
It's also like
Blackie?
First of all, it's also
The black guy paid for it, apparently. What he paid for was his NBA
That probably
contract.
sounded racist, but it sounded funny in my head. Poor black guy's got to pay for everything. Fucking wheelchair kid's like, I ain't got no money.
he had to because it's equity. So it's like
It's
he already
equity.
has the privilege. He has to.
Why does he
give
got to
to
pay
the-
for some little white girl to see the game? Just
That's
just
how
give
I
it-
go.
Yeah.
Cause that's what they showed. So basically, and this is my fear. This is my genuine fear. Oh yeah, we're going to do all this equality. Hey, black guy, it's all putting everything back on your back. That's where you belong, right?
Right.
Don't you want to be
the
an
way
intern?
things were before, right?
Yeah. Don't you want to be
This
an
is
intern with your
also-
college degree, black guy?
This is also just a 100% cherry picking argument. Like this is what this is. It's just using one instance to show on and use
Or
it
not
as
even well.
maybe it's more of a straw man, but either way, it's a terrible argument, and it's not like there's certain aspects in life where you may have an advantage based on your background or who you are, but a disadvantage at a different point. Like it's not universal that one person has an advantage in all places in all ways. It's just not. That's just not how life is. So when they say these equity things, it's like, especially this argument, it's a terrible.
Well, as I said, they can't even kind of make their argument in the pictures here. Like it looks as bad almost as all the other ones where the guy's got a hole dug. Have you seen that one? With this basically making fun of this image. But no, Snortopupus. I said, sorry. Who paid for that? There's your question. Motherfuckers are illegally watching that soccer game.
Yeah, they are. The fuck?
Where's the police?
Yeah, I know.
I want to see that little kid in handcuffs.
Sounds like start cracking heads. That's equality.
Exactly.
Go.
Yeah,
This is a
equal
girl-
treatment for all. That's right. No,
Says she's not a white girl. Stop Asian hate. So
I was gonna say, is she Asian? I was gonna question that, but then I'm like, that's gonna sound racist if I say that. What actually constitutes as Asian out of that picture?
I don't know. I'm just glad that the Islington girl is here to keep us in line.
Yeah, we have to
Please.
stop Asian.
Thank
hate.
you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
you are a white woman, therefore the most powerful of all. So,
I have to listen to you.
or not the most powerful, the most victimized. I don't know. I don't. Whatever.
it
Whatever.
depends
They're
on the
all
day.
the isms.
But it just depends on the day. I mean, sometimes that they're the most oppressed, and sometimes they're the most privileged, and it's kind of like up to the wind. It's sort of like divining tea leaves, you know.
You're right. Either it's
One of
a
the
situation
spirits
where I'm oppressed because I'm a white woman, or why I can't give up my job to anybody else because I need to use my platform.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tricky. I like that one.
I
need
love
my
that
platform to
one.
be an ally.
To
Therefore,
be an ally.
Yeah. If I give up
this.
this position, then who's going to carry the torch of equality? Ooh, that's some tricky shit right there.
Exactly. Don't you love that one?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's really admirable in its audacity.
Right. And that's what kind of brings me back to one of my initial points here is what does this actually do to diversify Disney? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. All it does is teach anybody who's there who may be racist, quit being fucking racist.
Yeah.
Even do that would never teach anyone who's an honest to God racist that they shouldn't be racist. All it would do is give them ammunition to double down. That's all.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
which is what most of the stuff does. Most of the stuff gives and I think that's a hidden agenda, that they want to actually create more racists.
I kind of think that.
Yell at.
And that gets you to another part of this whole thing here where they talk about the different groups.
Oh, I got to get to the group. So I have the names.
Yeah.
They're so beautiful. I wanted to get it on the document, but I can go into the article and find the names.
I'd like to hear it.
Okay. So, because I covered it. Do they? The names of these groups. Oh, here's the checklist.
Yeah, that's a fucking checklist. That thing.
There's a checklist. What is the checklist?
But
it's how privileged you are.
Oh, that's good.
I want the key for it.
Scientific.
The name of the groups. Okay, they have different groups from different groups, basically. So the black group is called the Wakanda group. The Latino group is called Ola. It's like, okay, so you guys are actually
if
racist.
I came up with these ideas, yeah, you'd be like, ew, that's a little racist, bro.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I found them. Here we go. In the article.
Dildo, divide the plebs. Absolutely. That's what this is all
Absolutely.
about.
That's exactly what this is.
Divide and conquer.
That's exactly what this is.
Well, yeah, because that's also part of the not questioning thing.
Yeah. Can I?
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
You're right.
And I don't know what these groups are doing here, but I do know in other instances where people have posted pictures and talked about similar things. They'll always show a group of black people in a room being talked to, group of white people in a room being talked to, group of Hispanic in a room being talked to. Like they're all separated. And it's like there's something not right about this shit.
Yeah,
and everybody always posts exactly, and everybody always posts those pictures right next to it. They'll post a picture from like back in the day where you had, the two fountains and one says black only and white only.
Yep.
Yeah. Now it's white only and people of color. And maybe they switched the fountains. Maybe that's the difference.
I saw a really funny meme of someone had on their front lawn had stop black hate, stop Asian hate, and one other sign, and they're getting, or it was like Black Lives Matter, Asian Lives Matter, so on and so forth. It's like they're getting awfully close to all lives matter.
Yeah.
They're one away.
Yeah. But yeah, the groups.
But yeah, that was one of their points of contention. Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah. Oh, Diego Flores asked, how come we got Wakanda and you guys got Ola? At least calls it Cusco or Mexico. No.
I'd be like, call it like the Aztec warriors or some shit.
Yeah, get us some cool.
It's kind of gay. I want to. They get Wakanda
and compass. What the fuck is compass?
Yeah, and I want Viking. For whites, I want Viking.
I mean, is that some kind of crack that Asians get lost easy or something? I don't know. When they're driving, I don't know. I mean, again, I don't want to raise a stereotype here, but it's kind of hard not to when they got shit like Wakanda staring me right in the goddamn face.
I've never heard the racist stereotype about Latino that they have terrible sense of direction. That's a new one for me.
The Asian group.
Asian.
Because there's that.
Their group is called Compass. The Asian group is called Compass.
Compass?
Yes.
Is it because they have to sail here to navigate? Is it
what
like
the
some
hell
really
does that mean?
fucked up shit? Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't know.
And that, and also how reductive to the black community that it's Wakanda, like a movie that came out, you know what I mean, like a few years back. Like that's
a fake country.
Yeah, and it's not even real, and like that's the best that they can associate the black community with.
And not only that, it's a
fiction.
country where they keep everybody else out.
It's an ethno state,
Yeah, exactly. It's an ethno state.
The whole, and I'm probably someone like I think Black Panther's okay. You know, I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's perfectly okay.
In the top 20, not the top 10.
Yeah, but the marketing really pissed me off. And that marketing is still taking hold. Like this was some black event that Disney looked at us poor Negroes and gave us a movie. It's like, shut the fuck up. Just show me the damn Marvel movie with the CGI.
Oh yeah, the virtue they stood on with that. Oh my God. They created
like never before have black people ever been acknowledged or done anything until we allowed them with our voice.
You're welcome. You're welcome, black people.
Yeah, so
that's pretty much it. Yeah,
it pissed me off. But let's get back to the checklist because that's an interesting thing. I'm not sure how much time is because we like to keep it 2 hours.
Yeah, I gotta hit another stream here yet before I die too. So.
Damn, you're putting in some work today, brother.
And I'm
Fat Steven's celebrating his 1K, so I gotta go show my little fat bastard some love.
I honestly didn't even know he was a content creator. I just know him from his super chats.
Well, actually, he's kind of more of a producer-ish for Lorena, but he does. Yeah, he does have his own channel and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he does goofy stuff here and there, I think. But,
speaking of Lorena, I was on her show. And
not goofy stuff, but streaming and stuff. Yeah, sorry.
I was on her, I think it's the after school special. I can't remember when she said it'll come out in a couple weeks, but I'll be on her show in a couple weeks because it was recorded previously. And Robert says Tyrone Kent forever. Shout out to Tyrone Kent.
Yeah.
Said to Clark.
No, he does gaming streams and stuff like that too. Yeah.
Oh, good for him. I had no idea. Oh, he's got like art and everything.
Yeah. I didn't mean to say goofy stuff to make it sound like a bad thing.
No, that wasn't the impression I got.
No, but I shouldn't have said it like that. It's like an eclectic thing. Like
he has a lot of stuff he does.
That's a better word for it. And I just called him my little fat bastard, so I'm not really that worried about it.
Yeah, I don't feel like he's gonna be too offended.
No. He knows I love him.
Oh, we love you, Fat Steven, if you're watching.
If he's listening, yes. I say his thing's going to be starting here soon. So, like, yeah.
Okay. Let's get Finite San Antonio says, what about the half? Who knows? Maybe they get to be in both groups. But here's there's a lot of stuff here, so we not get through this. But this is checks. More checks equals more privilege. This is awesome. So
I am white is one.
I am white.
Wow.
First one.
Unbelievably racist.
Yeah,
that's crazy,
man. Next one is I have never been discriminated against because of my skin color. So if you're black and you say, you know what, I think everything's been fine, apparently you're too privileged. Off rip. So
who has never been discriminated against because of their skin color? That's crazy. Everyone has. I mean, there's varying degrees, but I've definitely walked into Korean restaurants in Koreatown and they were like not going out of their way to serve me.
Yeah.
Like it was obvious. It wasn't just that the service here was bad. It was that I had to make a point to let them know I wanted to eat here and really assert myself to sit down at this place. But like, that wasn't just a coincidence. Like, it happens to people all the time. All right.
I've never been the only person of my race in the room. I've never been mocked for my accent. I've never been told I'm attractive for my race. Holy shit! What is this shit?
What even? Yeah, this is a corporate.
And how do they rate that? That's where I want to see the key. You know what I mean? I want to see what process it is.
Well, if you check box any of these check boxes, the more check boxes, the more privileged you are.
And then what happens when you get paid less?
Who knows? I don't know what the outcome is.
And who views this and what do they do with the information?
That's a good question.
Jesus. Yeah, real quick, it just says you complete this white privilege checklist, then you're instructed to complete an exercise saying how to tell if you have white fragility, which teaches belief in statements such as I am a good person. I can't be racist.
I know. Hey, I think I know. I think I know how you have white fragility. Yeah, you resist any of these ideas, and then I guarantee that is a diagnosis. You are stage 4 white fragility.
I want to know what they're gonna say to like people who like aren't white and still think this is bullshit, because there are a lot of people like that.
There
And,
are.
like, what do they say to them? What's their answer to that?
Oh, they probably don't. I imagine they wouldn't converse with them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. These are really well-crafted echo chambers. Like, you got to give them credit. Like, they really do extricate people who don't agree with them. And also, like, they do give people passes who don't agree, but they don't give them any validation on their ideas. They're just kind of like, oh, well, okay, you're black and you don't think that way, so of course I'll be hands off because I would never imagine to think that. But they're not going to be like, wait, is he making a good point? Should I consider this idea into my thought process? You know what I mean? Like, it's still high mind. It's still the core principles that we are right. This is the only way to look at the world, and we need to make everyone else understand that this is the right worldview to have.
Wait a second. I'm looking at this. There's too many things. One of these things on this list is I don't have any student loans. Get the fuck out of here. I'm privileged for not having student loans. What if I got a scholarship? I'm privileged.
I guess so.
I don't have student loans. Does that make you privileged or not privileged? Because
that makes you privileged if you didn't have student loans.
If you did,
which could mean you didn't go to college, which would be a distance.
But also, you could have gotten a lot of grants for being a minority.
You also could have. Yeah, you could have. But apparently that's privilege. Whoa. One of the things on this list is I've never been graped.
I've never been great. Oh,
isn't
great.
that a personal question?
Yeah, this is like, okay, this is where the other night on Toxic Femme, I told the girls like, shut this down, because they actually answered all these questions, and they were answering as we were going. Some of the other girls were, and I'm like, no. Let's time out. Nope, this is too personal. I don't want you guys to have to.
That's not even a legal question. I don't think.
No, they're not. Not really, technically.
Yeah,
no.
That's
what they're trying to do is test your victimhood.
That's insane.
That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, there's too much to go to, and as some people said, this is somebody's getting sued for this shit. See you in court business, Tree Rock Creations. You're 100% right. But this will go to court. Somebody's getting sued, man.
That's horrible. That's fucking horrible. But it is 7. Oh, it's 7 for me. You know?
Yeah, 2 hours. 8 for
Tom Connors of Midnight's Edge has spent his time with us and hung out with us, and we're very grateful. Thank you for hanging out.
I'm grateful, man, because you almost didn't make it, and you went coast to coast with us. I can't appreciate that. And Tom,
no problem.
I want to say this, and you don't know it yet, but we're gonna have a hit single before this year's over. Me and you. I'm telling you, we're gonna do it.
I'm not against that.
Yeah, and maybe the Wake Down to do the video. Who knows?
Oh my God,
I think
brilliant.
we can do it.
I'm not against that either.
So
I think we can talk.
Yeah.
All right.
Appreciate you being here, man.
Oh, no problem.
Means the world. It's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, thanks a lot. Always talking with you. All the time on the cocktail lounge has been great, and really proud to have you as our first guest. Dude.
Yes,
it's a pleasure. I like to keep my promises if I can, and that's the only reason I got to check out here soon myself. So yeah.
Hey, no worries. It all fits. It all works timing wise. We got to the main subjects we wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
with this in the Golden Globe.
I had a great time. It's my pleasure.
The chat was on fire. I really wish I could have featured the chat more. You guys were so on fire.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. I think I might have, because I'm a terrible host.
I hope not.
Terrible.
Double check, bro.
Gomer Kyle. Yeah, I did. He tipped $3.50. He says he doesn't need anti-racism. He has parents who taught me right from wrong and not to hate anyone of any color, for fuck's sakes. And he says, hey, lay off hockey. Don't hate because my Nashville Predators knocked out the Red Wings. Come on, what the hell? And Dallas Stars from the playoffs. Listen, we weren't trying to bring it. I thought we were trying to end on something positive. What the hell, Gomer? But in any event, I appreciate the super chat. Seriously, I appreciate all the super chats. We got quite a few. Gomer Kyle, Man of War, Neighbor of the Beast. Actually, Gomer Kyle twice because he was anonymous. Vigilante of Renegade. Valiant Renegade, so to speak. Darius Moonchild's in the Wake Down and Islington Girl all tipped. And I appreciate you guys keeping this channel monetized and keeping this show going. But next week, this show will be on Foulball's channel, and we will have another guest. Foulball.
Yes,
Who is
we
our guest
do.
on
We
your
have
channel?
Chrissy Mayer as our guest next week.
Oh
She's
my
really
gosh,
cool.
awesome.
Yes.
I fucking love her. She's amazing.
She's so fucking cool. She's actually in Austin this weekend. She's performing.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and I can't. I got to work, but I wanted to go to see the show. She's playing. It's a Comedians of the Compound, and she'll be here with fucking Anthony Cumia. God damn it! I'm still gonna try to I don't know, linger outside the venue.
Yeah.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, she's great. I mean, I've met her like twice on
She's so
FMT,
cool.
but yeah, like for a brief moment. She's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, she is so funny.
I've been wanting to get her on Toxic Femme, but I hadn't had
Yeah.
balls to ask her. So just
We just emailed. She was super cool. Like she got back to me within like 2 hours. Like she was
I'm sure
great.
she will, but I like to be like I'm one of those where like I like to be able to stream with somebody 2, 3, 4 times before I kind of ask them something like that. At least usually.
Yeah.
We don't have that luxury here, so
No.
we had to just start asking people.
You got to throw
No,
bombs
but I
at
plan
people.
on asking you guys on meet and stuff for sure, man. Like
That'd be great.
Awesome.
All right, on. Well, thanks again, Tom. Really appreciate you coming on. And yeah, this is great, guys. See you all next week on my channel.
Yeah, so I guess we'll get out here. So for everyone in the chat, blame my head, not my heart. Too many names to mention. We got up to like 30 some odd people in the chat at one point, and we're in the 20s most of it, so I appreciate it. And for Foulball Productions and Time for Midnight Says, this is Vigilante Williamson. We are the Culture Crime Fighters. We will play both of the intros as outros. Thank you all for being here. I know you guys love that. So peace.
Later. This is Culture Crime Fighters. We are a Culture Crimes Task Force so powerful, so far-reaching, not even the most dastardly of villains can escape. Our goal is to identify and defeat all culture criminals wherever they lurk and destroy them. For too long have these cretins carried out their nefarious deeds, and we will sit for it no longer. Beware, you may commit your culture crimes, but if you do, justice will be served at the hands of the Culture Crime Fighters.
What are you?
I'm Vigilante Williamson.
You went full.
SJW.
Never go full.
SJW.
You don't buy that? Yeah.
President of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy.
You guys are nuts. That's one of my pet peeves, and here you come along with a third pronunciation. Like, what are you doing? Actually, it's pronounced
Stupid bitch.
If you could just be like 25% less brave, that would be great. People were like, there's no way he fucked her. This pig, he didn't fuck this pig.
I think he probably did. I think he
Oh.
didn't give a fuck. Allegedly.
Allegedly. That's just your opinion. It's in England, they say
Honorable cunt.
and in America, we say Amber Heard, and that's where the confusion is.
See, I was going with the British way.
Turns out it's a little more nuanced than that.
And I mean, hey, we're in 2021. Any moderately attractive girl can do squats for a few months and put a camera up her ass and become a, and go viral. So
I don't know. I mean, I'll keep my mind open. I spent all day yesterday on that video. I edited, I cut, I put sound effects and visuals. I'm tap dancing, I'm spinning plates. Although for the life of me, I can't grow it. It's got like 45 fucking views.
You know what I think it is now? Tease the algorithmic guys. Brightest Day is in the chat. His channel is growing because of those shorts. Yeah, that's how it goes.
That's how it is.
Man, this has been a fun ride. I thank everybody for being here the whole time. I mean, there's regulars, obviously, Snorter Poopus, the Islington Girl, Man of War 665, Neighbor of the Beast, Just Another Red Shirt. Not just another red shirt. He's the red shirt, the crew. I love you all, man.
You guys are the shit. Love you all. Man of War 665, Lord Thoth, Just Another Red Shirt, Darius Munchausen, 24/7 Fusion Media, Ascension Dildo, Mark D with a C, Snorter Poopus, Android Scanner, the Islington Girl, New Bomb Turk. Everybody, you guys are great. We'll see you all next time. Have a great night.
Peace.
Yeah, peace. I love peace.